to my 233 angels and more coming. This is Jorrie. Welcome to my YouTube channel, and this is the story of my delays and detours. People would always ask me questions like, "You've been in DepEd for quite a while, but why are you still teacher 1?" Or sometimes they will comment things like, 31 and not married? Maglandi ka na. Society sets standards that when you are in an agency for a long time, you have to be at the top. And when you're past 30, you should be married. Well, you cannot change the way people think and believe, but you can change how you respond to that. Once, I was traveling to a late Friday speaking engagement after work. I found myself in a long line of cars stopped on a 2-lane highway. I didn't know what was causing the traffic, but I certainly panicked with the thought that my schedule is at 7 o'clock in the evening and the clock struck 5 before 7. I really wanted to hop out, but the idea of walking was definitely impossible. I'll be very honest, I hated detours and delays. When I was younger, I always calculate the quickest route and make sure I get there before my scheduled time of arrival. But that time, I didn't have a choice. I focused my eyes to the window of the bus, and there I saw the serenity of my home, Bukidnon at its finest. I then realized that I would have missed out so much had I refused the detour out of a fear of the unknown. Life is indeed a journey with its annoying delays and imperfect detours, and both are opportunities to add our life's purpose. After college, I envisioned myself to get a job, and I pictured myself finish my postgraduate studies 2 years after that. But 2 years later, after being employed in a university where I graduated, I left to apply for DepEd. That time, my family wanted me home. Of course, I did not like the detour. Like, why would I stay and teach in a public school when I know I had a good future in a university? But my family wanted a secure employment for me, so I took that detour, causing me too much delay in my dream postgraduate completion. It was impossible for me to take my master's because I had to spend my own money for classroom structuring, garden landscapes, some shelves and cabinets, and sometimes fare and food of my learners. Instead of going to postgrad classes on weekends, I have to go to school to fix destroyed chairs and tables, paint my classroom, and more on a list. But if you are going to ask me if I ever regretted not finishing masters on time, well, if it is for my learners, every waiting period is worth it. Much of my desire to finish my postgrad degree, I joyfully waited for my turn. I exhausted myself to teaching English and literature alongside the coaching on journalism and establishing the school's dramatic guild, the INH's Teatro, which I think the best part that ever happened to me during the waiting period. I was lucky that the whole school was supportive of our shows. I spent my own money for snacks and lunch during rehearsals, pictorials, station payment for dubbing, and some costumes. I'm very happy that parents and some stakeholders are also helping out. I did not mind spending. My heart was always filled with joy while I watched my teatro babies swallow the stage with confidence and pride. And I also loved how people's generosity poured out for shows after shows after shows. We even got the chance to try filmmaking and work with a renowned indie director. Seeing my theater babies show off and later build their own names and lives was my biggest consolation. Some of them are professionals now, and I'm truly grateful that they all look back at our alma mater with gratitude and never forgets their theater experience with me. Unlike others, I am a full-time teacher on weekdays and a missionary on weekends. That year, when I supposedly finished my master's, I was elected the diocesan youth leader of the Diocese of Malaybalay. My weekends were filled with parish visits, meetings, informations, and speaking engagements. In my heart, I could still picture myself holding my postgraduate diploma. 5 years later, I applied for the Buksudep Scholarship for Teachers. My hopes were all up due to the excitement of making my long-term dream come true. But I was not admitted. I cried, but I did not give up. I waited for the next year to apply again, fervently praying and joyfully waiting until it came knocking off my feet. And last year, I finally got hold of the diploma I have been waiting for. Sometimes we plot our plans, but God has better plans for us. We wanted to go places and take flight, but the safest place to be is at the center of God's will, right in the middle of God's purpose. Because of the delays and detours of my life, I discovered endless possibilities, things I couldn't imagine I could do. I was also able to determine new perspectives, things I never thought of before. I also got the chance to reflect on my truth and prepare my tomorrow while I rest, joyfully waiting for God's perfect timing. I believe that same conviction goes with my desires and hopes for marriage and love too. My past relationships will not define me, will never define me. I mean, I am not a reflection of people who can't love me. I will love again. I will be loved again. After all, detours are not stops. And delays, they are not denials. They are just pauses for you to rest or slow down, because success and happiness in life take time. And you will have your turn. Have a safe trip.